Let me show you how to put the grill back in your Aston Martin DB9. In this episode of Aston1936.com, I'm going to show you how to put your grill back into your car. In a previous episode, I've shown you how to take it out, and then I've got a whole other series on how to refinish the grill, but maybe you've had it out for a different reason. We're going to show you how to put it back in. It's got 10 bolts that are built into the back of the grill that go into 10 holes in this plastic assembly. But as always, there's a few tricks to putting it in. So let me show you how to do that. So the parts that you need obviously are your grill, and when you took your grill off, there should be 10 7mm nuts. So you want to have those ready to go. So that's it for parts, basically just the grill and the nuts. So you need just a couple of basic tools to put the grill in. Essentially you're just going to be working with these 7mm nuts. So I've got a 7mm 6-point socket. I've got a 7mm deep 6-point socket, if you happen to have one. I have a 7mm wrench, which is going to be necessary at one point. I have a ratchet and short extension to work with the sockets. I have a speed driver, optionally to work with some of the sockets. Definitely going to need an inspection light, always good to have that. So this is going to be the magic tool though. Some of the nuts are really in an inaccessible spot and you're going to drop them. You need a magnetic tip thing. No, this thing's only like $1 or $2 at the tool store or local auto body or local auto shop. So you're definitely going to want to have yourself a little magnet tool, and you're going to want to have some blue painter's tape to protect the paint on the area surrounding the grill. So always good to have that as well. And you're going to want to have a microfiber towel because you're going to want to clean the area in the grill opening before you get started. So you're going to want to do a little preparation before you put the grill back in the car. The preparation you're really going to need to do is you want to make sure that you can take the nuts and then that they just spin on super easy. This is going to be essential, in particular for the 4 really hard to reach bolts, which are the 2 end ones on either side. You absolutely want to be able to have these just run on. If these have resistance and you can't just get them to spin with the tip of your finger, so if you can't just do that, because that's all you're going to be able to do in the car is just literally this. You're going to want to clean up these threads. So I actually had trouble getting these nuts to run down. There's a little bit of sort of 15 years of buildup or corrosion. So I put a little oil on these threads, and then I actually ran a dye down. It's an M4 by 0.70, or you can just put a little oil on and run the nuts up and down a couple of times, just until you're absolutely sure that they just spin on super easy. So that's the first preparation step. So another thing I want to teach you about is how a special technique basically to hold the nut while we get it onto these really inaccessible end studs that are going to be hard to reach. So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the nut's magnetic, and I'm going to reach into this narrow space with the essentially with the magnet and hold it just near the end. And then I'm going to be able to just get my finger in. And the trick is I'm just going to try and roll. Maybe we can shoot it from the front so they can see what's happening. All I'm trying to do is to catch the thread, and there it goes. So notice all I've done is rolled my finger, and then you can pull the magnet off, and then you'll be able to run the nut in again. So one more time. Again, if you have to take it off again, it's the same trick. So in, and it'll be kind of misaligned, but then you can kind of push with your finger, and it'll catch hopefully, and away you go. And then I'll use the Same technique, hopefully, for the bottom one. You can see it's misaligned, and I'll be able to get my finger in, hopefully. And if it doesn't work, take it out, kind of get it relined up again. There we go. So I think that technique's going to work. It'll be fiddly, but that's my best shot at it. So let's go over to the car and actually get this thing put in. It's time to put it in the car. So I would begin by cleaning this lip area. Now this is going to be mostly inaccessible once the grill's installed because it sticks out over that area. But now is a really good time if to use a microfiber towel, give that a polish up. And you might want to put down a layer of blue painter's tape, because as you're jockeying this in, right, the bottom metal of the edges of the grill might be scratching along here. Now I have paint protection film on my car, so I'm going to actually skip this step. But some cheap insurance to go ahead and put down some blue painter's tape. All right, so the next bit is to actually do it's a little tricky. So you've got to get the 10 studs into the 10 holes. And your grill may be something like mine. My plastic is cracked. This thing has become brittle, so it's actually broken here. It's broken here where the hood stop is. So you're going to see it be a little rickety, but I'm going to live with it the way it is. So you can come in a little closer now just to see whatever. But I'm just going to, I'm looking at the four main, or these main center ones, and I'm just trying to get it started. Yeah, it's a good time to bust out your light, take a look in the corners at these ones that are really going to be hard to see. And it's a little bit resistant. And if we peek over the top, on this angle, you can see there's this little tab part. So you got to make sure that gets up and over that lip on both sides. Now my left side slipped right in already. And these holes are set so that there's some left-right wiggle. So I'm going to play with that and peek in and see which bolt or thing is hanging up. There we go. Ta-da. All right, so not too bad. And you can see I have maybe a 1/4 inch. I haven't pushed it all the way home yet, and that's deliberately, because I'm going to have to work way in those crevices now to get these nuts on. And I only want a short, maybe 1/4 inch or 3/16 of an inch, the stud sticking out, so it leaves more room for my finger to get in and work. And on this side, I'm going to push it in a little further. We can see the bottom one down there now poking through. There's the top one. All right, so we're going to make a go at getting this side installed. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on camera. I've got the bottom one started already. There was just going to be no way to videotape that, but I used the technique I showed you on the bench. I have the nut stuck to the top of my magnet, and you can see I can get it in and on top pretty straightforward. What's nice is it's stuck to the magnet really well. And then I'm trying to get it uprighted so it's aligned with the threads properly. Nope, I missed, so I'm just going to reset. Go in for another attempt at it here. There we go. So I'm rolling my finger across the top. Now I'm on a couple of threads. I'm going to pull the magnet away. And there you have it. So it's a bit of a dexterity test, but just take your time. The magnet holds on, at least my magnet on this thing holds on really well to the nut. And so go ahead and get all the two outer on both sides started. So once you've got those successfully partly on, the next step is, and I've got both this side and this side now started. Now I'm going to set the grill in the rest of the way. Because before I only had it pushed in just enough to have, you know, about a 3/16 of an inch sticking out. Well, now I want it fully bottomed, which is looking great. And it is. So then if we're just going to go ahead and it's all downhill from here. So I'm going to finger start each of the nuts. Okay, that's all 10 nuts started now. So now you can choose your weapon. If you've watched many of my videos, you know I'm sort of a stickler for giving you the exact torque spec. Well, not on this one. My plan, because essentially we've got a steel nut torquing up to this brittle plastic, I'm just going to put the nut driver on, and I'm just going to pull it in kind of evenly across all of them until they're snug. Now you want them to be, you know, done up, of course, you know, so they're not going to back off on their own. But if you try to torque these, they just keep burying themselves further and further into the plastic. So you just have to use sort of a judgment call. And I'm tightening the center 6 first, because now I can't get the nut driver, of course, onto these hard to reach ones. But see how much slack there is? There's but since I can roll these with my finger, because we did our prep work, and I'm going to come in and finish these with the 7mm wrench. So this may be just about impossible to see. And I'm trying to do it so the camera has a bit of a view, so I can't really see it. But you can use your box end and just, there we go. It's just starting to snug up now. And it's not, it's not particularly easy to do these lower ones, but I can get an 1/8 of a turn or 1/6 of a turn or whatever it is each time. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward, and so I don't torture you, but just keep working it till it gets snugged up. Well, if you were patient and you just got them all snugged up, you'll be rewarded with a completely installed grill. And I'm really happy to see mine back in the car. Once you get the grill actually mounted up to the plastic backing, everything kind of gets solidified, and it's a lot nicer. So just be careful as you're tightening up the nuts. Just make them snug so that they hold. And at this point, the grill's reinstalled. You'll need to finish up by just reinstalling the slam panel that goes here, that you had to take out to get access to the nuts. And that's probably going to be the next video I have a link to up above. Down below here, you're going to see a link to the blog article, which will more or less cover the same thing, the tools and things like that. If you like videos like this, please subscribe. And as always, I'd love to hear from you, so please leave your comments down below. Thanks for watching.